Hello, friends, and welcome. This is Above the Fold Live, episode 6. This is our new weekly live show. So, we'll be talking primarily about video games, and sometimes we'll touch on movies, anime, and TV shows. But coming up first on this week's show, is Sony puts the pressure back onto Microsoft, and Bungie announces 3 years of content for Destiny 2. But joining me this week, we have Adam. Who's not with us at the moment, but he's in the background, he's producing, so he's still there. So anyone in chat,
he's the wizard behind.
He is. And we've got Femi.
Hello.
And this
Hola.
Week's special guest is Grant. Hello, Grant. How
Hello.
you doing, mate?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Grant.
You've been a guest we've wanted on here since we started doing the show.
This is true.
There is a reason behind it. We both share the love for Destiny, so we'll save that till the very end, towards the end of the show, because we're going to dive into the Beyond Light reveal, pretty much, and beyond that. But first, let's start. We want to get to know you a little bit better. So without further ado, let's do that. So, Grant, tell us a little bit about yourself, mate.
I am totally not a robot. I'm a human being. I don't really have much else going on. Started playing video games when I was very small. Got introduced to it by my mum, who was a big Pac-Man fan, Atari 2600. Then she got me my first computer, which was a Commodore 64. And then I spent many hours watching my brother play Elite on that, thinking that was damn cool.
Elite is what's now known as Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, the original Elite, man. And then progressed onto the Nintendo Entertainment System from there. Then a SNES. Then we were a Nintendo house, man. Nintendo all the way.
That's actually quite surprising for me personally, because I've only ever known you have a PlayStation. When I first noticed you play video games was PlayStation 1. I've got fond memories of you playing, was it Silent Hill?
Silent Hill. Yeah, I mean, I got, after, it was always a combination. So there was always a Nintendo console, but then, PS1 came out. I was a late adopter to the PS1. I think I jumped kind of mid-console generation on that one. Saturn didn't do it for me.
Didn't do it for a lot of people, I think.
No, evidently it didn't. Wipeout. I think Wipeout was the game that pulled me into the PlayStation. I bought a PlayStation because I was like, I need to play this. I need to see what that's like, what that's about.
And then kept you hooked with Metal Gear, Silent Hill, all the good stuff.
Metal Gear. I bought so big into Metal Gear. I got I still have it. Japanese. I bought the Japanese version of Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
I still have that sitting on my bookshelf. And I had a modded PlayStation at the time, so I could play not copies, but just games from other regions.
We actually mentioned this. I mentioned it. I don't remember what episode it was, because I fondly remember you chipping your PlayStations, which I think you did for you and your friends. I remember a black PlayStation. What was that about?
So the black PlayStation. Oh, the chipping. Yeah, man. It's just a nice little sideline when I was in college.
It's a bit of side hustle.
Yeah, a little. It's funny. They talk about millennials having side hustles these days. I don't have the time to do one now, but I was all about side hustles at college. Yeah. So you get the chips in an EEPROM burner, and it was a really simple process, and then you just solder them onto the board. And then what happened was Sony started making the boards smaller and smaller, and then I was out. My precision is only so much.
I think I pretty much remember all my PlayStation 1 games just being copies that you've passed over to us, which I found quite funny. I remember there being I think you burned Crash Bandicoot, but I remember playing a lot of Spyro the Dragon, which was a demo within that game. You had to enter a code with, and I remember playing that a hell of a lot.
Ooh.
But going on from that, Grant. Tell us I want to know what's your favorite video game? What's and I don't mean like currently. I mean of all time. Which one do you high in what kind of games do you have in high esteem? Pretty much.
High regard.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna do the whole. Oh, it's too hard to pick one. Right. But I've got two.
Go on.
The Last of Us, because that is probably the best example of writing in any video game ever.
Yeah.
But not only like just kind of the writing, but how the writing interacts with, like kind of the gameplay, and then like the gameplay, how it's kind of an action game, but it's also kind of a puzzle because you're solving the kind of each situation you can approach it in different ways, and then you have these kind of different elements of which you can solve the situation in a sense, Yeah. So it's got a lot going on there. And then probably Mario 64. It was the first game I ever fully completed. Got all of the stars on it. And just played it to death.
It's funny you say that because when you handed down your N64, I had a lot of your games, and I remember that being 100%ed. And I remember trying to go through the game myself, and I was too young to know what I was doing. I didn't get very far, but it was that and GoldenEye. I remember you blitzing completely, all
GoldenEye,
cheats,
man.
everything.
Yeah, GoldenEye was that was popular. I did the multiplayer. I got the most. The split screen 4-player on that was just the biggest causes of arguments.
Oh yeah. Did you use Oddjob when you played GoldenEye by any chance?
There was always that one person.
I was that one person. That was me. I am proud of it.
It was so there was like an unwritten thing. So nobody would say don't pick Oddjob.
Exactly. So
there'd be that one person who'd pick them, and it'd be like they picked Oddjob.
Yeah.
And then you just rail them for it for the entire. So it's right, they're short, but they also have to put up with that. And then and then that person never picked Oddjob again. So there was only there was one person that did it, and then they'd never do it again.
I kept on doing it. I kept on doing it. Didn't stop me. I was happy.
You are.
Slappers only. So yeah, I mean, so what? Just moving on from that, then, what unreleased games at the moment you're currently looking forward to? Now, I think I'm not going to say it for this, but I'm going to ask it anyway because everyone has the same answer.
So I'm working very hard to make sure I don't die before Cyberpunk comes out. I'm drinking less alcohol, drinking more water, doing a little bit of exercise, going up and down the stairs more often. I'm hard. I'm ready for that game.
Yeah.
I think is that the game everybody else says?
Pretty much, yeah. I think from now on, until the game is released, we'll say I'll ask that question and we'll go. Besides Cyberpunk, what game are you looking forward to?
Last of Us 2, and it's.
Oh.
I mean, how far away is that? 19th? What are we on? 14th? 5 days.
Yeah, just a few days.
Yeah.
Away. Which
real
has
easy.
been received very well. There's been attendance across the board.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising. I mean, it's to be honest, I don't really know where they'll go from next, but I think Last of Us is a topic for another time because we do have a fair bit to get through this week, unfortunately. So let's move on, because we do want to jump on to the main topic of this week, and that's been the future of gaming, PlayStation's PS5 reveal. So gentlemen, as we've got a lot to talk about today, the PlayStation 5 Future Game event was revealed. There was a lot of video games, more than we could cover in one episode. We do plan on putting aside a segment for next week. I just want to get your thoughts, really, but let's just get some things out of the way. So, of course, I say of course because GTA was there, and I was wondering, why is it there? We keep seeing it, it keeps popping up, but apparently they've made a deal with Sony. It's coming out on the PlayStation 5. It'll be a new version, enhancements, blah blah blah. The GTA Online will be free for all PS5 owners. So, for anyone who doesn't have that game, I suppose you could take advantage of that.
Sure.
Because it will cross over. But it's strange. I find it strange that they led with that. This is a game that will eventually span 3 generations. So remember, it debuted on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 in 2013. That's 7 years ago. So, I mean, it's revealed at a console reveal. It's mad to me personally, but here we are. But we've got out of the way. Let's move on to the more exciting stuff. So we've got Spider-Man, Miles Morales reveal. So we do have a trailer for that. So this I was so stoked when I watched this. Have you guys seen the trailer for this game yet?
I have, yeah.
You have. So there's if you looked at that trailer, you would wonder what you would think it's a full game. But apparently it's not. It's an expansion. It's an expansion which is paired with a remaster of the main game. So it's being brought forward to the PlayStation 5. Just wondering.
Just a quick note. For those of you guys in chat, we are looking at chat. So if you have any questions, comments, make sure you pop them in so we can add it into the show. And again, welcome. Just wanted to add that in real quick.
While Adam's just getting that video sorted. Oh, here it is. Fantastic. So like I said, this will be pretty much a Miles Morales story. It was very slow tease. I couldn't actually figure out when it started. I didn't expect another Spider-Man
He was
game
right.
so soon after the last one. That came out in 2018.
Now it's your turn.
But yeah, like I said, this rather than a complete sequel, this will be an enhanced, expanded version of 2018's game. So there's been a lot of controversy around this because people who bought it on PlayStation 4, they can't access this. They have to buy PlayStation 5. I was just wondering, like, how do you guys feel about that? It's not the first time Sony has done it. They've done it with Persona 5. They released Persona 5. Well, it's not Sony. It's Atlas. They released Persona 5. Then Persona 5 Royale was like a remix, but you couldn't just upgrade. You had to buy the game separately. But I was just wondering, like, does this dampen your excitement for the game at all? Grant, if you go first.
Yeah, go for it, Lawrence.
All right. For me, no, but I'm probably going to wait a long time till I get a PS5. I'm going to be waiting for something truly killer to come out on it that'll be like, I got to buy this to play this game. And Spider-Man with some extra DLC ain't going to do it. But at the same time, I can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
So let me just,
what about you?
Because first of all, I don't have a PlayStation 4 right now, so I've never even played the Spider-Man game. And is it even going to come out on PC at some point? Do we know, or is it going to be a solely exclusive? Yeah. So let me get this straight. This game is not a sequel, right? And it's meant to be some sort of like extra content or extended version of the current one. And whoever has it now on PS4, if they get the PS5, they would have to rebuy it again.
That's what it looks like. They've not clarified it too much. We don't know if they will release it as an expansion for PlayStation 4. There's very little information so far. I mean, it was only announced the other day. But that's what it looks like right now, which is why there is a lot of controversy around it, especially on Reddit.
Yeah, they have.
They have controversy on Reddit.
They have to clarify that, because if this is more or less DLC. You're telling me I need to buy a game again so I can play this extra DLC. That's what you're telling me. So unless they come out and clarify it, then I don't know. But from just the game itself, whatever this is.
For you though, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go on.
This probably would be the best time for you to jump in, because I mean, I've seen in past shows, buying a PlayStation 4 now would be amazing for anyone who's not played any of the games. But if you're playing some of these games for the first time, why not experience them the best possible quality? So it's things a bit from someone who's bought the game to have to buy again to experience that extra content. I don't really like where they're going with that. That's not something I can get behind.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, it's two sides. Me, as somebody that hasn't played the game, I don't have a PS4, getting a PS5, getting this, no qualms. But me talking as somebody that has a PS4, has the game, and I'm going to have to buy this game again when I get a PS5 just to play this extra bit, that's where I'm like, okay, if that's how they're going to take it, then that's a bit poo-poo.
Being the spoiled gamer that I am, I had the full expectation that because I've got this on the PS4, that when I get a PS5, that I won't have to pay for it again.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't know that.
But then again, if you think about it though, GTA did the same thing, right? You got it on Xbox. You got an Xbox 360. You have to get an Xbox One again, I guess.
Was it?
But
I think it was discounted, wasn't it?
It was, probably this.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, but
I feel
this
like
one is,
it stings a bit, because look at what Microsoft is doing. They've already said that any game you buy now, your library will be on the next generation. So Microsoft is leading the conversation with that. And for Sony to come out with something like this, it's evident that Microsoft is more pro-consumer right now, whereas Sony are not, because they can afford to not be pro-consumer, because they have such a massive share of the community. I mean, it's staggering, really, which is why Microsoft is always leading the way. They dragged Sony kicking and screaming to get crossplay on some of the titles. So I don't think we'll see anything pro-consumer from them anytime soon.
I would have to see. I guess people will have to see what they actually say, just to clarify this confusion. Now, just about the game itself, I would love to play a Spider-Man game. Just myself, I definitely would love to play a Spider-Man game. Last Spider-Man game was like a long time ago, like PlayStation 2 or 3.
The Amazing Spider-Man games, man.
I think so. Yeah, it was a long time ago. So for me, I would definitely love to play it. But yeah,
I'm excited for you, Fami. It is a treat,
dude.
Everything about it is great.
There's so many games I can't wait to play. I have no idea.
Yeah,
it's definitely one of those games that feels so good to just swing around. There's not many games that, like, I mean, the developer behind it, they have nailed movement in this. I mean, their previous game was Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox One, a highly underrated game, but again, that highlighted movement. So I'm really looking forward to playing it. I'm in no rush to play it, especially knowing that it's just gonna be a remaster of a 2-year-old game.
Combat as well in it is, sorry to cut in there, but we're talking about the movement, but the combat is brilliant as well. Like the way you can switch, it's kind of like it's the Batman Arkham, but then like the switching between the gadgets in Spider-Man in the combat, it's like one of the most it's just fun. It is just fun. You start, and it's like they give you it's like Lego bricks. They give you these little bricks, and then you're like, oh man, but could I combine this and this? And you're like, I'll give it a go. And then you end up sticking somebody to the side of a building mid-fight, and it's like, whoa, yeah, okay.
They've definitely taken the Arkham Asylum fighting, and they've gone with it. I mean, and it works, especially with the whole Spidey sense thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, excuse me, let's move on. So the next topic I want to talk about is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. So Ratchet & Clank, it's a game I've always admired. I've never really been. I don't think I've only bought one game, and I don't think I ever finished it. But the reason I want to talk about it because it seems like the game was built specifically for the PlayStation 5. It's way it transitions from just during gameplay, the way it transitions from one area to another area seamlessly. So Sony's been on record touting the whole SSD power, the obliterating loading screens, for a lot, since last year when we had that Mike Sony thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they are essentially removing the loading times, they're removing long elevator scenes, which Mass Effect 1 was mega guilty for. Or, even having long hallways from one area to the next. I mean, loads of games have used that to alter the pacing of the game, to slow things down a bit. I mean, look at God of War. We had that changing between realms, and we had dialogue. We had... there's loads of games that use that. I mean, Evil Within has its transitions, but I'm just curious to see how this loading screens will affect games going forward. I mean, we see an example of this right now, just watching him go between, different worlds essentially.
Yeah.
So, I think that will be one of the biggest jumps for this next gen. I'm curious to know what you guys think of how this will affect games. I mean, Grant. I mean, this will probably make our Destiny 2 lives a lot easier, especially if we're mid-fight. We're like, crap, I need this specific weapon.
When else am I going to organise my inventory if there's no loading screens?
That's true.
That is the one thing I like a lot about Destiny, and the loading screens are they're the time that you can really just max out on I need to dismantle my stuff.
Yeah.
So if that goes, I don't know. I think the wider range of games, I think you're always going to have your narrow corridors and your slow walking conversations and stuff like that due to the narrative. But it will be interesting, where those things occur and how they occur, because maybe they won't. I think you're never going to get completely rid of loading screens either. True. You've got to go from, even with an SSD and the fastest processor ever, you still got to go from your title screen to your game, and that takes time.
That actually leads me to the next thought, because a lot of developers have hidden their loading times behind doors. Look at the first Resident Evil. That they hid their loading times between that segment when you open the door, and that was very clever, because I thought it was a great way to build tension. So I think they definitely can hide it in some way. I mean, whether they do like a GTA where it's it's a loading screen at the beginning of the game, it loads the entire thing, or whatever. But I think I'll be interested to see how it affects horror games as well. I mean, Femi, you're playing Evil Within right now. And I don't know if there's some long corridors, there's some segments which are stretched out. I mean, I don't remember too much of Evil Within 1, but I know the Evil Within 2, they used a lot of corridors, and they used it in a very clever way to change to each area had its own long corridor, but the way it used it was quite clever to just build that tension. But I suppose they could be a bit more creative building that tension now. I mean, there was the Tony Hawk's game for the 360, and I'm going off my memory now. They try to be clever with their loading screens as well, whereby you had to get to one area to the next. There would be no loading screen. There'd be a long corridor, and if you were amazing and got to the end of the corridor, you would still have to wait. You still have to see a loading screen anyway. There's no avoiding it. But if you just walk through it, you obliterate loading screen altogether. So I'm definitely interested to see how games take on this, because I think this will be one of the technologies that will truly change video games going forward. A bit of a we've got HDR, we've had 60 frames per second, 4K. I think this is the one that I think will make the biggest impact personally.
As a game, I'm curious to see how they're gonna incorporate that, because I was actually having this conversation with somebody on stream yesterday. I don't know if he's in here, Kinosuke. He was saying that he's not sure exactly how it would integrate. Would it be too janky? Would it be disorientating in some fashion? So Again, it's something that we don't know much about now. We only saw it during the showcase, so it's something to keep an eye on to see how they really do. But
I mean,
Ratchet and Clank.
Sorry,
Just want to say this, guys. Ratchet and Clank as a franchise, it has spawned out 15 games. 15 games from 2002. It's crazy. I is
I didn't know
nuts. Yeah, I was just looking at it while we're just going through the brief. Like 15 games. That is nuts, though. And one of the one of the names of the game is called Size Matters. I'm never making this up. Seriously, I'm like, okay. So I mean,
They went there.
They did. But like, I think I would actually like to play this. It looks interesting. It's very rare.
Yeah.
I mean, I rarely play platforming games nowadays anyway. So I actually would like to jump on this when I do get a PS5. But no, it looks interesting. I'm just curious to see how they would actually do the whole new loading screen and everything. And mind you, again, gone are the days where you would have a mini game section when you had to sort of wait for the loading to go on to the next whatever chapter of the game. You had like maybe mini games or whatever. So it's progress, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess it's progress. I guess.
I mean, I remember there being a patent for a while where a company wouldn't allow you to have a game whilst you were loading.
Exactly.
Which
Namco.
That expired several years ago, and I was shocked that nobody did anything really. Not very few. I mean, I can think of one top of my head, and that was Fire Emblem, where they had this loading screen, and your character's little icon, and if you press the button, he would jump. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all.
But yeah, same here. I mean, as much so like Ratchet and Clank, I think they're using this to just tout the power of the PlayStation, and showing what it can do. But again, I appreciate their games. I don't really play them. I think I enjoyed the movie more. But my little brother was a big fan of the previous game. So he's a bit older now. He might not play it, but who knows? But anyway, we've got a bit to go on to. So the next game is a bit different. Very different, actually. This is something we've got Godfall. So while Adam behind the scenes sets up that trailer, so just to explain what it is, it's pretty much a third-person looter slasher.
Look at that transition! Oh my god, Adam!
Beautiful.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Seamless.
I'll let the gameplay speak for itself, but you can kind of tell that it's very much a slasher game, but they are heavily using like looting elements like from Borderlands, which you don't normally see. I can't think of a game where, not many games, I can probably think of one where they've used that. That might have been Darksiders 2 maybe, but I mean this game looks absolutely stunning graphically. Now this is a timed exclusive for PlayStation. It will be coming to PC. No information of it coming to Xbox. Of course, we wouldn't hear anything about that. But just looking at this game,
I want to say that music in trailers can absolutely make a trailer. This game, this reveal with the music on it, like guys, whoever's like, definitely go to YouTube or wherever and check out the actual trailer, because I know we don't have sound of this, but the music in this trailer was like, oh my god, I want to play this right now. It's so good. I was so pumped. I'm like, okay. No, but just to your point, it does look, I mean, hack and slash, get a bit of Darksiders in it, and I am pumped for this. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was a bit like, what exactly is this game? Like, what is Godfall? When I saw this, I'm like, okay. This is something
I'm getting
definitely
like elements from Devil May Cry, and it's merging with looting elements. And with co-op. I think I don't think it's been confirmed. I think it's a three-player co-op game. But it's got like supernatural, it's got science fiction elements. You'll be able to unlock the armor that you can see. That's what you unlock. From what I've read, there's a fair bit to unlock, and there seems to be like a giant a mid boss between each level. But I mean, it's coming out December this year, so it's coming out quite soon, and it will be coming out on PC. Which I think this year. Well, we're a bit fuzzy on that. They've touted it as a timed exclusive, whether it's a timed console exclusive, I don't know. Sony has always been very, very vague. They don't like to share too much information about exclusives, as we know. So yeah, I think this game. I think I've been following it for a while. I personally am looking forward to it. Grant, I'm interested. What are your thoughts after just watching the gameplay?
It looks great, man. It would be a game. I'm not a fan of hack and slash games, so
I was gonna actually say, do you? Yeah, I was gonna actually ask you that. Like, do you play hack and slash type games?
They don't do it for me. Like, there's. I don't know what it is about them, but I never really get. I think it's like when your character's like swinging a sword around and the sword just goes straight through them. Yeah, it just destroys it. I want the sword to either just knock them down, or just stop, or I don't know.
Well, saying that though, I mean the controllers now will have haptic feedback. That might change the way it feels for you if that's a big, issue. But I do see what you mean. But there are some hackers and slashers out there that I think have nailed it. I mean, I mentioned Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry 5 is the best hack and slasher I've played. Period. But I do see what you're saying. But
I'm not knocking the whole genre. There's nothing. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
But I'd happily watch that. That looks. I could sit and watch somebody play that on Twitch. No problem.
I'm getting a bit of War. I know you've played this more than I actually haven't played it at all. Warframe vibes as well from it.
The art style is quite.
Yeah, it sort of feels like it is, but then again, yeah.
Like kind of sci-fi, but kind of organic elements.
I like how vibrant it is. I mean, that's something I appreciate more now than ever is how colourful certain games can be. They don't have to look grim, grey. Whole Gears of War 2 colour scheme. So I mean, yeah, we've got a lot to look forward to. So the next game we've got queued up. So this one was, I half expected it because it was rumoured along with another game. So Demon Souls. So for those who don't know, Demon Souls is pretty much what started the whole Souls-like subgenre at a point. So Bluepoint is remastering the 2009 game from Software. So now this game, I was shocked to see it, to be honest. I've never played the first one. I jumped in a Bloodborne. Femi, having played, finished Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, is this something that you would you like the look of?
Absolutely, and Dark Souls 1. Gotta represent Dark Souls 1 as well.
Sorry, Dark Souls 1.
Recently, yeah. No, this is the granddaddy, the grandpappy, so I will definitely want to play this, and being that's remastered. I mean, I was thinking about playing Demon Souls, but I know it wasn't on PC.
No.
At the moment, no,
it's
exactly.
It's on PlayStation now, which is not an ideal way to play any video game.
Yeah.
Like this, I'll say. But it is on PS3.
Yeah, so it's absolutely for me a no-brainer. Like I will be all over. I mean, Dark Souls. You had me at Souls, so yeah.
So just to go into detail of what it is we're looking at. So this game is being overhauled from the ground up, and it's created specifically for the PlayStation 5. So of course, to be exclusive, I think the first one wasn't exclusive because it was published and funded by Sony.
Yeah.
So this game was heavily rumoured, along with a Bloodborne PC announcement, which sadly we didn't see. But thinking about it now, not surprised because it's not about PlayStation 5. That's something that they'll probably drop. Anyway, let's get back to Demon Souls. So my question is, how faithful can this be to the original? Now, Bluepoint, they have recently, they have remade Shadow of the Colossus. Now, I can speak to you about this, Grant, because you've had your hands on these games in the past with Shadow of the Colossus. What was their previous game? Was it Ico?
Eco, yeah.
Eco, yeah. So
yeah. Yeah, both great games. I never got around to playing. What was the? I can't remember the third one. Yeah, was it The Last Guardian?
Last Guardian, that was it. Yeah. So we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's. Did you ever play?
They did a great. They did a great job of Shadow of Colossus. It was very faithful. You know, they made it look nice, but all of the mechanics were still there. I think for years. So the one thing that they did do, which I thought was really cool, was that like for years there'd been a rumor that there was like a secret thing hidden in the game, in the original game, and like there was like whole like conspiracy theories about like how to get this thing or what you got to do and stuff like that. And then when they remastered the game, Bluepoint put this thing in.
Oh wow!
So people could like then solve the mystery of X, Y, Z. I thought that was a very cool thing. So they're kind of, I think whatever they get into, they're very much like in with the community that's around it as well. So I don't think they do anything that the community wouldn't like.
I'm very glad you said that because I did a little bit of research. So we've obviously I have not played Demon's Souls. Just going back to that, there's like many of the From Software games, as you would know, Femi. There's a lot of content that doesn't make it to the final game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with this trailer, we saw a snowy mountain. From what I read, there's no snowy areas that was cut from the main game. And I did some research. I watched some videos. Vatiovic is very well known in the Souls-like area, and he went into more detail than what I could have gone into. But there's a whole segment of the game that's been cut that Bluepoint, that we're speculating that Bluepoint could be bringing back. Now, having said what you just said, Grant, I'm more hopeful now that that's exactly what they're doing, because I was worried of how faithful they would be, because there was a lot of jank. There was a hell of a lot of jank. I mean, Demon's Souls didn't have omnidirectional rolling. You could roll forward, backwards, left, and right. That was it. Now that's an absolute nightmare for anyone going from Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3 back to Demon's Souls. It wouldn't feel the same. I think it might be too old, but I'm hoping that will change. So I think quality of life improvements would be a must for a game this old. So
it's very simple. You give me the recipe for ice cream cake. I want you to make ice cream cake. Now, if you put chocolate Oreos on top of it, grand, you've done it. I love you for that. So Bluepoint only has one job. Just take what's been done, put it in that oven, bring it out the same way. Now, if you have extra toppings on it, great. But make sure you get that base done. That's all they need to do. That's all. Simple. That's all I want.
Okay. Well, that blew my mind. I mean, there's literally only a handful of armor and weapons in this. We've gotten used to having a massive selection to choose from to hunt down. I kind of hope they will take some liberties, in a sense. They will add more content.
Absolutely.
There is room for that. So this is just, obviously, it's a brief glimpse. But I'm curious. I mean, we've kind of already touched on some of your experience with the Souls-like genre. But Grant, I'm interested. Have you ever paid attention to a Souls-like? Does anything like this do anything for you? It's high fantasy. It's hard, and it's not for everyone.
So in terms of like the game mechanics, I think Fallen Order was a little bit similar, wasn't it?
Fallen Order.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So with the whole XP system and stuff like that, that was right up my street. I think that's the closest I've gotten. There was what was it? I saw you guys playing it. Femi especially playing it really badly. And it's the one set in feudal Japan. I think the guy has like the metal hand or something.
Oh, is it Neo? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh no, Sekiro.
Sekiro, that's it.
Oh, Sekiro.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
That tickled my fancy, but I never got around to it. And then Jedi Fallen Order came out, and then it's the order of priorities. I'm like, that looks good. Jedi Fallen Order drops all the way to number 1, or goes all the way up to number 1. On the priorities. So I played that. Yeah, but Sekiro is probably like the next one I'm going to check out.
You're in for
Yeah,
a treat. Sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say there's a lot of kind of legacy with Dark Souls, so I might pick it up and give it a go when I get my PS5.
I can only imagine how daunting it is for anyone to jump right into Dark Souls right now because of its history of being infamous for being so hard. And let me tell you, it's we won't spend too much long on the sequence because we do have a lot to get through. But every time you overcome a boss, there's nothing, that rush that you get, you don't get that. I've never experienced that in any of the game, which is why I'm still playing this game, which is why I'm going through Dark Souls 3. And again, Bloodborne, if that comes to PC, there's no game like it. And for me personally, this will be a day one buy. Whether it's a console seller for me, I don't know. I'm still waiting for that Bloodborne 2 news. Now, if they announce that, that's it. I'd be prodding that thing right now. But another game that was announced. So the next one on our list. Now, we all have history with this franchise. So Resident Evil 8, also known as Resident Evil Village. This game comes out next year, gents. This game is a sequel, more of a sequel to Resi 7 than any of the other games. Mm-hmm. Femi, having just gone through Resi 7, you streamed it. Probably, I mean, Grant, you didn't get too far, if I remember correctly. You got to one point and you said fuck that and put the pad down.
Yeah, man. I mean, it wasn't a permanent fuck that. It was like I need a break, and that break just happened to be like
still taking the break.
A year. still on the break, man. Still on the break.
Yeah.
But after
sorry, I mean, I'm just because it's a first-person game. We've all dabbled because Resi 7 was first-person. Now Resi 8, Resi 3, and Resi 2 recently had remakes. They're two very different games within the same franchise. Now I'm wondering, guys, what's your preference? And let's start with you, Grant, because you've probably played more Resident Evil games than I have.
Played all of them. Sadly, I played 5. No, not 5, 6. I like 5. I know. I think there's room. I think there's room in it. I really liked the turn that 7 took, and although it was like the turn it was like, yeah, they just ramped up the fear and the tension like big time. And then RE2 remake, yeah, I love that. Played it twice. An RE3 remake. I love that as well, and that had a first-person scene at the beginning.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I think the perspective serves a function, doesn't it? So, in 7 and soon to be 8, it like the whole kind of thing of those games is to like pull the environment in around you to make you feel more, claustrophobic. And when things come at you, and just like it's nice not being a badass, and like you've got your gun, you've got maybe 3 or 4 bullets, and then I empty them into the wall because I'm scared because I can't hit the thing I'm trying to shoot.
That reminds me of a Femi stream actually, but sorry, carry on.
Yeah, but you guys, I hand off to you guys. That's
so. So, Femi, having recently streamed both games as well, I mean, Resi 7 was, for me personally, I didn't think you would ever get to the point where you'd play Resi 7 because we all know how you feel about scary games. So you seem to have overcome that. You're now into Evil Within, and hopefully Evil Within 2. What are your thoughts on the same question? So, what's your preference? Do you have a preference?
So, I think I'm very fatigued with the whole, it's a zombie, an undead, I need to shoot with my gun. 7 gave me something that was completely different. I was expecting it to be so psychological. Like it was really, messing up with your mind, the environment, the sounds. Like at one point, I was even contemplating maybe I should actually just stop. Like I had to play something afterwards. I finished playing it, like Overwatch, something very happy, very bright, very light, so that I could just sort of not rethink what I went through. So from a more of just actual that shock experience, I think Seven does it for me. And if that's where they want to take that franchise to, then I would say for me that's great. Now looking at this one, I wait. So this is a sequel, basically. This is a sequel, right?
Full
Yeah,
on
yeah,
sequel.
yeah, yeah.
You're playing as Ethan, so it's the same guy from Resident 7.
Yeah.
We obviously have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much full sequel.
Because
Can I
at the
just quickly
end-
cut in?
Go for
Can I
it.
just
Yeah.
quickly cut in? I want to say, like, I've only played so far in RE7, and in RE7, he loses his fucking hand, and he's got his hand in the trailer.
Well, I'm going to
That's all
say
I'm saying.
there's
Spoilers.
No.
there was a stapler involved. We'll leave it there.
Oh right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what I'm looking forward to. I mean, you guys know we've all had conversations about the remake. The remakes were fantastic, the best remakes I've seen. Now I like the direction they're going with this personally because it looks like they're taking more inspiration from Resi 4. There's so many different environments. There's a giant castle. There's witches. Is that a werewolf? There's a werewolf. So I mean, I think personally, I'm glad they're going in a new direction. Saying that, I cannot wait for Resident Evil 4 remake. That's probably up there as one of my favorite games of all time, and just seeing them not knowing, a Resident game coming out not knowing what it's about. I gotta say, I'm looking forward to this. Now, this is Chris Redfield.
Yes,
He has one line in this trailer, so I don't know if you can hear. I might have spoken over it, but to me, it sounds like Keanu Reeves
Or playing him.
voicing him.
Sorry, voicing him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to it 2 or 3 times, and it's I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it a bit more. But honestly, it reminds me like Keanu Reeves. But anyway, we're getting towards almost at the end of this segment. So the last game. We would like to talk about all the games, of course, but of course, time is of the essence. But they did announce, which I was quite surprised to see, Horizon Forbidden West. And now, this game, it's I can't believe how good it looks. Like even through my 1080p 60 frame stream, it looked amazing. And it's the same engine behind their last game and even Death Stranding. What are your thoughts? What have you guys? I know, Grant. Have you played Horizon? Have you gotten very far in the game? Is this something that you would be looking forward to?
Oh yeah, big time, big time. Yeah, absolutely loved Horizon Zero Dawn. It looks so different. It looks like I'm so. It's a hard yes. It's a hard yes for me on this one for this one as well. It looks just. I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I can't wait to see what story is going to come out of this. And they're showing us these environments. And I'm getting the impression that we're going to get to see this in game as well. Yeah.
We are seeing a lot of different environments. I mean, look at the first game, then look at the expansion. They are taking environments very seriously, and this one, it seems they got underwater segments as well. I mean, with the graphics being as good as they are, I mean, I know we're just looking. I don't know if this is in engine, but it looks stunning. It genuinely looks stunning. Now, I've always appreciated Horizon Zero Dawn, but I couldn't get too far because it demanded too much of my attention, and you know what? It gets in the way of Destiny. Let's be honest. So just to end the games, we have not spoken the console yet. But I just want to know from you guys, Grant, did any of these games shown today, did they get you excited for the PlayStation 5?
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn 2, definitely. RE8, definitely. Although I originally just assumed that would be cross-console, so I'll be getting it Xbox.
I think it is, yeah.
But would it? again, Horizon 2 looks amazing. Probably won't make me buy the console. Like, I will buy it. Don't get this wrong. I'm going to get one. But, you know.
There's an order.
There's an order and priorities, man. If they announced, I don't know what. If they announced, and it'd be impossible because they've ended the story. But if they announced like Uncharted 5 or, you know, whatever number we're on now, that would make me buy a PS4.
I thought that's what you was going to say. I'm glad you said that because there's two games that could make me buy a console for PlayStation 5 console, and that's definitely the next Uncharted game, and of course Bloodborne. But I mean, Femi, how are you feeling about the show? Is anything shown here? Would you get this day one? And if it didn't, what could they do? What game could they announce for you to purchase PlayStation 5 day one?
I mean, there's so many games on the current PlayStation I've never played that I want to play. So
yeah.
I think, I mean, some of the games that were mentioned here, I'm not trying to remember if they're all like timed exclusives besides Horizon Dawn. Besides Horizon Forbidden West. I mean,
just to top in on that. So yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, of course, that's exclusive. They're pretty much all exclusives except for Godfall, which is a time exclusive, and Resident Evil 8, which is open to everyone.
Yeah. No, I think some of the games they announced definitely piqued my interest. So I know we didn't touch on them here, and we'll probably touch on them on our next show. But from just the lineup of games, I would say I'm leaning towards getting it. Maybe not immediately, but definitely something I will get. Probably over like the holiday period or whatever. But yeah, for sure.
Brilliant. And what could they announce? Could they announce anything?
I don't even know. To be honest, like I haven't played Bloodborne. I haven't played the first one, so it's not like, oh, if they announce Bloodborne 2, then I'll get it. Like, I want to play Bloodborne. So
what if they announced it as a remaster for the PlayStation 5, just the PlayStation 5? Would that make you get the console?
So like it wouldn't change how fast I get it. I will still get it, but I won't be like, yes, day one, definitely now I'm gonna get it. So I think on just again more like all the games they have pushed me towards me getting it. Now whether I get it immediately or during the holidays, that's something I'm sort of battling with. I'm definitely in the yes, I will get it column for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm almost in the same boat. I mean, there's always those exceptions for me. There's Halo Infinite for Xbox, there's Bloodborne for PlayStation. There's always that one game that I will drop everything. I would fork out the cash, depending on how much the console costs, because I can't afford both. But talking about the console, so let's talk about the console reveal. This was a very long, drawn-out reveal with the animation team went to town. So I did crop a lot off, but I'm curious, like, what did you guys think of? What do you like? I'll start with you, Graham. What are your thoughts on the current concepts of the PlayStation 5?
Man, so it's hard to be original about my thoughts on it, because I've agreed with everything that I've seen. It looks different. It looks different to the current PS4. It wouldn't be out of place, in Sesame Street, counting things. It wouldn't be out of place in your hallway next to your phone, because that's the best Wi-Fi reception you're going to get from your router. I think, like, joking aside, it's nice. It looks very different. I think the digital version looks better because it doesn't have the drive. I'm mystified as to why they didn't move the disc slot into. Well, it would be better if the disc slot was, in the console,
It's
so
almost
it was in the black area.
It's almost as if it was like an afterthought, and we're like, oh, maybe we should put a disc in just in case. So just plop it on the side, make it look like a baby bump or something. But I mean, that's another thing I thought was quite surprising, really, with Sony's never dabbled in the all digital exclusive console, whereas Microsoft has. So, I mean, Femi, what are your thoughts? Do you prefer this look, or are you more into the sleekness, the more minimalistic approach that the Xbox Series X has taken?
Yeah, I again, not to just echo the same thoughts that Grant just shared. It's pretty much the same thing I thought when I saw like this is a Wi-Fi router that will get me the best 5G connection out there. But I'm very curious to know why, because it's really a change of design from the current PS4 that they have. I wonder why they decided to make it stand out in this fashion. I don't know. Like, I just feel indifferent about it. It's yeah. I just feel I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm just like, okay,
it is what it is.
It is what it is, exactly. So it's just.
It is quite a chunky console as well. It's wider than the PlayStation Pro, and I don't mean by a little bit. I mean like a lot. It's almost as if.
That's right.
I don't know. It definitely won't fit in my entertainment system, and there's no chance of that. I think, for me personally. Sorry.
I was going to say, can you even lie it flat, or does it have?
Good question. I don't even know.
You can lie it flat. They did announce on Twitter. Pretty much the stand that comes with it, you plop it on. It's like a little circular disc, and it fits in two positions, underneath and on top, at the bottom. So you can have it flat. But I guess they want it as more of a centerpiece, to kind of like how the PC Master Race have their desktops on display on streams. They want, I don't know, I don't know, but
it's not even like, yeah, like if they want to do like the PC, the PC, the shape itself, it's not pointy. I mean, I don't know. PC is like. It's a box, right? And you can see the inside with all the LED lights and whatever. Plus, again, it's. I think I would have liked it if it was black. Maybe I like it if it was black. It's just gonna be like, look, if people break into my house, they will definitely know where my PS5 is. Like, they would know.
I'll be drawn.
It can't even blend itself in with the rest of it. Like, oh guys, don't forget the PS5.
Steal your router, Femi. You never know.
Oh, maybe exactly. That's even true. They might even think it's the router.
This guy's router next to his. It's got to go in the hallway. That's the best reception for everybody in the house. Selfish.
So yeah, like I said, I feel indifferent about it. I don't. Yeah,
it feels almost very reminiscent of the Xbox 360. It's got that slimming in the middle kind of thing. And of course, that was a white console. I've learned from owning a 360 that having a white console is not good, especially not for its resale. The controllers get dirty so quickly. But you never know. I mean, they usually redesign it, don't they? They usually redesign their consoles,
And normally, after like 18 months, they've got like a slimmer design. I reckon, you're going to get it in black. Controllers are going to come in black. I actually don't mind the controllers that much. Like the shape, I don't like the color combo, but I think the shape of the controllers, it looks nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it has the Sony twin stick problem of that the stick's in the wrong place, in my opinion.
I second that. Yeah.
The stick and the D-pad. But I don't get
on with it either.
It looks nice, and I think I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see an unboxing of it, and see how it fares that way.
Yeah,
I mean, with white controllers, I mean, with the PlayStation 5 controller, when they first revealed that, I thought that is the oldest controller I've ever seen. And then I saw someone change the white, put it to black, and you know what?
It looks damn good, doesn't it?
It looks amazing, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm hopefully, I've seen a few mock-ups of people turning this white. I just know I'm just gonna hide it away because I won't care too much.
Yeah,
but it's got some massive vents there, vents. It kind of looks like a McLaren in that regard. But anyway, that's coming out. We'll be playing all our PlayStation 5 games on that in the future. So, next gen is going to be very different. both consoles, have you noticed, are doing things very differently. So when Sony revealed the console, of course they revealed the digital only. The Xbox revealed the Xbox Series X, but there's also that long rumored the less powerful, cheaper model, which is the Lockhart SKU. So one's having it cheaper by making it digital only, and one is having a less powerful, more affordable model, maybe more affordable than a digital only. So I'm very interested to see how things go. I mean, we obviously Lockhart is not been announced. It's been heavily rumored, but I think that's a definitive difference in strategy between the two consoles. So I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said before this, there are a lot of games announced. We'd love to touch on that, but there was one other show this week, which is why we have Grant in the show. We are both wearing the same.
My only
shirts.
level of expertise.
Yeah. So Bungie have pretty much laid out their plans for the next 3 years. So there's pretty much a lot to unpack here. So I'll try and get through it as quickly as I can, because we are running over preferred allotted time. But anyway, we'll jump straight into it. So Season of the Arrivals was announced. This is the next season. They've also announced Beyond Light, which is an expansion coming out the 22nd December, as well as laying out their plans for Destiny 2 for the year, like next year and the year after that. So won't be getting a Destiny 3 anytime soon. The future expansions they did announce, so we got one coming out at the end of the year calling Beyond Light, and The Witch Queen, which is 2021, and Lightfall in 2022. So just touching on the Season of Arrival, so that begins June 9th. I've been playing a bit of that, but this will act as a bit of a prologue for the Beyond Light expansion coming at the end of the year. So we've a lot has happened. I mean, last season wasn't the greatest, but it did do new things. We just saw the Almighty be getting taken out of the sky. That was all in game. That wasn't a cutscene. So they are doing new things. They've added a new public event activity called Contacts, very reminiscent of the objective in Gambit. However, I mean, even if you fail, you still get decent rewards, which is great. But they are experimenting with new things in this season, like even just messing with the seasonal ranks. Before it was, mostly filler, but they're adding a lot more content to it, more something that's worth your money essentially. But along with that new PvP event, they did add a dungeon. Now I don't know if you guys were aware, Femi, they didn't have dungeons when you were playing last. They are pretty much, I would call them mini raids. We've had one already.
They're fun.
They are some of the best content I've experienced in the game beyond Vault of Glass, personally, and we've got another one to look forward to. So this, like I said, this is a 3-player experience. Probably the biggest surprise is that it's releasing free outside any paid expansion, any paid content. This is free for anybody jumping in right now.
Okay.
And just looking at this, it looks fantastic. I mean, we do have some gameplay on screen right now. I don't think we've not got to the dungeon area yet, but that's still to come. But it does look unlike anything Destiny's done before. It's very. It reminds me very much of like a noir kind of experience. It's very colourful. Close to the Reckoning. I don't know if you guys ever played that, but it's like it just looks different. I mean, looking at it right now, it's very vibrant. It's very reminiscent of the Trials gear, the Trials stuff we've experienced so far in a different realm. They're talking about realities changing. So also, because of feedback from the community, they've taken the armor sets out of Eververse and they've put it straight into the dungeon. You can collect all different armor sets, weapons, armor, just from playing this. That's exclusive to this. I mean, it looks fantastic. I mean, this is content I want more regularly. I mean, raids, only a small percentage of the community can play a raid because of how many players it takes to get involved and the amount of time it takes to complete them. So I don't know about you guys, but I am specifically looking forward to digging into this one, especially.
Yeah.
So they've also, with this as well, they've also added something about, and I don't know if you know about this, Grant, but they've added a new economy, not an economy, like a new engram system to the game. So they're called umbral engrams. They randomly drop from major activities. So what's good about these is that you can choose what you do with these umbral engrams. You take them to the drifter, and he'll give you an option. Do you want it for armor? Do you want it for past seasonal armor, past weapons, or new gear? You have a choice. You have a choice of where you want to put it. And I think that's something that they've dabbled with, but I think they've finally fine-tuned it, and it looks like a damn good system.
I saw a video earlier on today of some guy who was basically, I think, because the way the system works is you as you described it, and he'd decoded it about 10 things at once, and he did 10 items and he got 10 arms. He got 10 sets of gauntlets, but the same set of gauntlets. So somebody in the comments was saying you did some things wrong there. You should have equipped when you encode something, you should then equip it, because then that boosts your light level. Also, if you don't pick up the armor set from the season pass thing, so if you don't have
seasonal ranks,
it won't give you won't get the full range of stuff from the pool either. So there's it sounds great, but it's still it has those caveats that come with it. But I guess that's more playing smart than it is.
I think that's something we can't avoid at the moment, because everyone knows there's a way. There's a way to game the system. And we're seeing that now in the new public event. We're seeing people, trying to avoid the grind, and I think that's been a contention for most of us, and especially our group. The grind has put a lot of people off, and they are taking steps to remove that grind. I mean, I went up 80 power levels in just a couple of hours, and you know what? It didn't feel like a grind, and I think that's what they're working on. They want to make sure that there's enough content there to keep you busy, to make it not feel like a grind, to make it feel like you're just having fun. But by doing that, they're changing the game. So I'll dive more into that in a sec. I just want to finish off this segment, because Bungie have taken steps to change the game for the next few years. But let's talk about Beyond Light expansion for a sec. So this is the intro we're seeing right now. This is pretty much the intro for that expansion. So this introduces a whole new location in Europa. If you haven't noticed, it's a frozen moon of Jupiter. This is home to a splintered House of Fallen. They have rallied and built a new empire on this icy moon. So anyone who's a fan of Destiny, we know that Fallen have traditionally been a very splintered group, lots of different factions within. So it seems like they've all rallied together and created a new empire, which is quite exciting. I mean, not only do we have a new location, we've got a new element. Now, we haven't had a new element. We've had new subclasses, but we've not had a new element before. So the new element is stasis. So we've got Void, we've got Arc, we've got Solar, and then we have Stasis. So this is pretty much taking the power from the darkness. So Titans, Warlocks, Hunters will use the Stasis in different ways, from slowing down foes with Stasis fields, encasing and shattering enemies with destructive might. So we've got a small taste of that Stasis, because right now in the Season Pass, or even if you're just playing without a Season Pass, you can get this new exotic. It's a grenade launcher, and it shoots out stasis, and it's absolutely amazing. But with that, obviously, we've got the expansion. They traditionally add new weapons and armor. This expansion is no different. We've got new exotics, plenty more to chase, and new raid with the Deep Stone Crypt. It's not the same when Bungie released an expansion without the raid. Even though it's been a while since I've done them, I'm glad we got a new one coming.
My favourite part about the raids is cheesing the chests. I'm always hyped for a new like kind of hey,
Jeez.
me and you can go and get that one, get some raid gear from that chest without playing the raid. All we got to do is some jumping. So I'm hoping there's some more of that.
I would hope so. We pretty much all my raid gear from Forsaken has been from doing that little exploit. So they did also announce the deluxe edition, which will come with the full a full year of seasonal content. That's 4 seasons, which begins with the current season of Arrivals. Comes with epic emotes and exotics emote and Sparrow, with no time to explain. Now, this is an exotic rifle, pulse rifle from the first game, which is a bit of one of my favourite weapons. And the reason why they've chosen it is because there's the return of the Stranger. So with these expansions, it looks like they've got so many quest lines, so many storylines branching out. They're trying to bring him back in, trying to answer some of these questions. Excuse me. So we've got a hell of a lot to look forward to. But Destiny's changing in a big way, and we won't have too long to see that change, because just during this stream event, they pretty much capped it off by saying they are trying to build a viable future within Destiny 2. Now, they say Destiny 2 because it doesn't look like there'll be a Destiny 3 for a while. They've gone on record saying that Destiny 2, they've said this multiple times across
Where I come from,
many
the
blogs.
darkness won.
It's too large
I have
to
witnessed
officially
this
update and
firsthand.
maintain. And we've seen
I refuse to let it happen again.
this because there's been a lot of bugs, and we have probably all noticed there's been a lot of exploits. Now, when Destiny 2 came out, for a while, even Destiny 1, it was a very clean game. It was tidy. It was smooth. There was no. It was the level of quality was second to none, quite frankly. And that has been slipping. I think they've realised that. So instead of building a Destiny 3 and essentially leaving Destiny 2 behind, they're going to cycle older, less actively content out of the live game, and they're calling that the Destiny Content Vault, DCV for short. So I've gone back and forth on this, but I remember that there was. Going from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 was quite... It wasn't great. It didn't review great. It was a very bare bones experience than what we expected. The quality of life that they developed over the course of Destiny 1 wasn't there. There's features missing early on. So my question, Grant, do you think they should drop the number, call it Destiny? Just Destiny, or should they, or do you reckon they're just intentionally leaving it for the door for a sequel for 3, maybe 3 or 4 years time?
It's a good question. I think, man, I mean.
There's more innovation gone into it now. There's so much gone into Destiny 3 right now that if they started Destiny, if they brought out Destiny 3 at the end of the year, it would have very little quality that Destiny 2 is built up. So I'm like, would you prefer to just be a Destiny 2, no Destiny 3, just have it as a Destiny and then just continue to add content, cycle out?
They should totally just go. World of Warcraft style. Drop the 2. Maybe they're keeping the 2 for like brand purposes, for brand awareness. They're afraid that if they get rid of the 2, people will think that they've somehow reverted back to the first Destiny. So maybe if they decided they would call it Destiny Eternal or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe not. You know, that's shit, actually. Don't do that. That's terrible. Don't call it Destiny Eternal. Doom's already done that. Forget it. I've got other things on my mind. But, I think you'll definitely see them, like, moving more into the realm of that kind of classic MMORPG structure.
Yeah.
Of, and because they're dealing with... it's all right for people with PCs because they'll just put another terabyte hard drive in. But for people on consoles, they're a lot more whiny. We've seen them on Reddit. I've got a Reddit beef. So yeah, I like the idea. I especially like the idea of the Vault of Glass coming back, man.
Especially, yeah.
I'm like, that was my favorite raid. First raid completed. So many good memories.
It was a lot of people's first raid. Like beyond that, the only raid on console really, there wasn't one. No, I mean, World of Warcraft are known for their raids, but the reason why I mentioned this topic specifically is because Femi, in the past, you have gone on record as saying that you're done with Destiny until Destiny 3. Now, it doesn't look like there's going to be a Destiny 3 anytime soon. So with the changes, I'll start. There'll be two parts to this question. I'll start with what we spoke about so far with the new content. Does this content appeal to you as it stands right now?
I'm going to be super honest. I don't know much about how this would affect the current game because I haven't played the current game in a long time. So I don't know. It sounds interesting. Like, new subclasses, new weapons, all that kind of stuff. New stuff is always good. That's my general belief. New things are always good. Now, I am seeing some old stuff being re-brought or reintroduced back again, like the Vault of Glass and stuff like that. So that's my answer to that question. But to the other question, which is, would this make me come back, given that if they don't do a Destiny 3? I don't know. Like, there's so many games now that I can just pick up and just complete. And I don't know if I want to... I don't know if I want to go into a grind fest. I don't know. Like, I have no idea.
That's the reason why... There's a reason why I separate those two questions, because they are addressing that. They have got a record saying they are addressing that. I didn't think the content would be enough to bring you back, which is why I've not nagged you about it. I've nagged you for years trying to get back to Destiny. It's never worked, so I know that's not going to work now. But with what they've said going forward, now, like I mentioned previously, they spoke about Destiny Content Vault. They're cycling in, out old content, bringing in new content. When it's in the vault, they'll be working on it, bring something new. So they're bringing back Cosmodrome. I mean, the Destiny map is going to look very different when all this drops. We'll have Europa, Cosmodrome, Moon, Tangled Shore, Dreaming City, the EDZ, and Nessus. Now, what we're missing? We're missing Mars, Io, Titan, Mercury, Leviathan. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of raids, especially. But they're doing it to better the content they've got out there already. Like they've said in the past that grinding has been something they want to move away from. I mean, Destiny is quite infamous for its grind. It's put us off in the past. There's quite a lot to do right now, but most of it's not really worth doing. So I'm kind of glad that they're taking this approach. So I mean,
to be fair, I don't know what's going to bring me back into Destiny. Like I really don't know. Like if I could tell you what that thing would be, I would tell you. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's. I don't want to say time is the reason, because I can make time if I want to play something. That's not the issue. And I don't know if it's because they don't have some of the PvP elements that they had in Destiny 1 that I really liked. I know the PvP in Destiny 2 is completely not the same. It's not even close. So I don't know. I really don't know. I just feel like maybe they just maybe it gets to a point. Let them keep marinating it. Let it get in there. And when it gets to a point, I'm like, okay, this doesn't look like anything I remember. Then I might just jump back into it then. Yeah, I think.
I do think if you jumped in right now, it would be very different. A lot of subtle things have changed. Like, it won't be evident until you play the game. But I'm just curious. I mean, Grant, what are your thoughts on the whole cycling content in and out of the game? Do you think it's a good thing?
Well, I know why they're doing it. So we know the technical reasons. So I'm kind of like, I get why. So I'm not like getting bent out of shape about why they're doing it. See, like the question is like, if they get rid of somewhere that has a raid, does that mean then I can't play that raid anymore?
Yes, unfortunately, yeah. The reason
Right.
they're doing it is because they want to put it into the oven. They want to enable more innovation. Pretty much, that's pretty much why they're doing it.
Because I always felt that, like, yeah, I mean, like the raid content is some of the best stuff. Like when you do get a team of 6, that's like the most. That is like the most fun thing in the game, and it's the great thing about the dungeons because you can just get a team of 3. You know, and that's always been the stuff, the kind of the working together to, you know, complete an objective, get some cool gear and shit. So I'm a little bit sad that they would be like, right, I don't mind them getting rid of a patrol zone and the missions that are surrounding that, but, you know, at least keep the raids, you know, on a side note.
See,
You
a
know,
lot of
point.
posts on Reddit are saying that
point.
same thing.
Very good point.
I mean, there's most of the raid layers I won't miss. The Leviathan raid I will miss.
Yeah, Leviathan, good times. Raid layers, not so good. A lot of frustration with those.
I mean, I suppose we'll still have the other raids, like we mentioned earlier. I mean, Vault of Glass is coming back. I think that's a nice consolation, because they're going to bring that back. I mean, that gear alone, some of the gear in that game was phenomenal. So we'll still have plenty to do, and my hope is that it will bring the guys back. It will bring people back to play.
Oh.
Maybe not. Some, you know, there's some people out there who have, you know, got kids. So it may not be possible, but for the likes of Femi, you know, Chris, Adam,
I reckon it'll definitely get Adam. I reckon. And a lot of the guys we play with will probably be down with that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it's there's going to be some old school players who've got happy memories around Vault of Glass, and that it is a good move because that was such a good raid. I think people who like raiding are going to be like, come on, should we just do one for all time's sake? So yeah, maybe that'll then push them on to the rest of the content.
I'm interested to see how they'll do it, because Vault of Glass was on
Venus,
wasn't it? And they've not. So they've got to do something very different with that to introduce it, because that's not on one of the planets they're unvaulting. But I am looking forward to see what other planets they could potentially unvault in the future. There's a lot from Destiny 1 I hope they bring to Destiny 2. Like I've said this in the past, I'd like to see them merge the 2 games, make it one game, have it as a World of Warcraft style, like you said, like a World of Warcraft style game. So I mean, do you reckon there's anything they can do to bring back lapsed players at this point? I mean, as Destiny 2 has upselling content, like I've mentioned, and it's quite hard to go back to Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to see the older content? Does that bother you at all, them bringing that back? Femi, I'll ask you first, if that's all right.
Yeah, I'll be super quick. So I know that Destiny 1 had a very strong competitive PvP scene. It's not like a huge, but it's very, very dedicated PvP players. And one of the things that they felt was not brought along was that element of that PvP element. Some of the things that were so good about the first Destiny didn't transfer over to Destiny 2. So maybe if they do some more work, look at what they did in first Destiny that worked from a PvP perspective. I know that would probably affect the PvE stuff as well. Maybe that could be something that might help as well. But that's just my own take on it.
Yeah. So same to you, Grant.
What was the question again? I got lost. I got lost.
Sorry.
Bring it back, buddy.
So with them unvaulting aspects of the previous games, does it bother you that they are essentially recycling, kind of like what they did with the Moon? They're bringing it back. Hopefully they're adding new elements to it. Does it bother you that they're bringing old content back to the new game? If it was
anybody else, if it was any other studio, yeah, man, my panties would be in a gigantic twist. With Bungie, nah, because it never just comes back the way you think it's going to come back. I mean, like with the moon, they changed the environment. They added, so it was familiar, but at the same time, you had all these new little areas off to the side, and there was a big hole or a big crack in it, and and like when they recycle like weapons and armor, I'm never like, oh, like they always recycle a gun I like. And I'm like, yeah, man, I miss this gun. So I'm hoping the Margot Loot comes back. And Fatebringer. That was. I bet you if I log in to Destiny 1 now, that's the scout rifle. It's Fatebringer was.
The Confluence.
No, I think
what's the
Confluence.
The
Vision of Confluence. Yeah,
that's it.
My character is probably still holding that gun. Even though it was never. You could like they didn't bring it up.
They did. No, they did. They brought towards when we all dropped off. When we dropped off Destiny, they remastered the Vault Glass raid, and they brought a load of the legendaries, made them as exotics. And I think that might be one of them. I know the Fatebringer was, but it's hard to do a remastered raid when most of the guys are falling off the game. So we've got a lot to look forward to. They've outlined a lot of plans for the next couple of years with the next 2 expansions. So there's a lot to look forward to and lots of changes to the sandbox of the game. With games like this, it's always evolving. It's never the same game. There's a reason why people keep leaving and coming back. There's other games to play. When you're not enjoying it, you can just go play something else because it will change when you come back. Without a doubt. I mean, look at PvP. PvP is changed. It changes all the time. And they're always adding new game modes to it, which I love. They've added. Didn't they recently add a no super mode? I think I'm right in saying that. Or was it just swords? I forget. But they are experimenting with the more player side of things. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all we got for Destiny. There's a lot to unpack there, so I do apologise for the length of this. Destiny's been a game that I've been playing since the beta. Me and Grant still play as much as we can. So
Lunchtime Destiny.
Lunchtime Destiny is back. It's been missing for far too long. So Grant, you've taken over Adam's segment. I'm going to leave this to you. You've got the information there. Mm-hmm. Have at it.
Let me just stretch my eyeballs. So, 3 games this week. Epic Game Store, Ark, Survival Evolved. That ends on the 18th of this month, of this year. GOG, Good Old Games, Hitman Absolution. I might pick that up myself, actually. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Notable mentions, EA releases more of their catalogue on Steam. Includes Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, and Andromeda, although we rarely say that around here that often. Don't say the A word. We don't use that around here.
Doesn't exist.
Battlefield 1, 3, 4, Hardline, and V, or 5, as some people call it. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. On Steam, Persona 4, Golden. I'm beginning to wonder if there was meant to be more after that. Is it just Persona 4 Golden?
That's essentially it. I did cheekily add that towards the end of my brief. Now, I can get away with this because I can get away with this because I wrote the brief, but I've still got my PlayStation Vita where I still play Persona 4 Golden. They've just added it to Steam and I've just bought it. So I saw that and I saw an opportunity.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of game reveals in the next few weeks, maybe possibly a few months. Next episode is currently filling up with stuff we couldn't talk about this episode, and even as we speak, there's games being dropped all over the place. There was the Guerrilla Collective, which appeared last night, the PC Gamer Showcase. So we've still got a lot to look into. It's just one last question for the panel before we disappear. How do you guys feel about this kind of stay-at-home E3 experience? Grant, do you traditionally watch E3? Is that something you look forward to, or are you fine just watching the news when and as you open up Reddit?
Yeah, it's made no difference to me. I have a little anecdote to tell about E3, but no, I quite like it. I like that everybody's on the same peg as me. That there isn't somebody out there having a great time at a conference. I'm like, yeah, buddy, you're with me now. Although you're not, you're in your own house, wherever you live. Yeah, no, I quite like watching the streams when they come in. Mainly the Microsoft one, and yeah, I think pretty much whatever pops out. Not so much the Ubisoft stream. I always find that a little bit boring, and yeah.
They certainly have a mind of their own. I mean, their streams are very bonkers. So, Femi, we traditionally like to watch E3 conferences, don't we? Now we're getting information essentially drip fed to us, and there's going to be a lot of stuff we've probably missed. Whereas before it was always on screen, we couldn't miss it if we wanted to. Well, unless Madden was on, then we'd just go for a toilet break or something. But
Yeah.
we're getting a lot of indies, which I love. There's a lot of stuff like that. I'm wondering, is this how you prefer to consume your E3 experience, or do you miss that Super Bowl experience where it's all one, a few hours of just banger after banger after banger? What are your thoughts?
Like a week, isn't it? It's like a couple of days or stretch of a week. Yeah, I think it's the same format. It's just that now it's rather than over a week, it's over a period of 3 months. So you just have to remember what day the next conference is, so that you don't forget. That's the thing. But I to be honest, I think this is better for me. It gives you a bit of breathing room between all the different announcements coming out. You're like, okay, you consume Sony, you know what the Sony has, now wait for a couple of months, and then you get the next one. So I don't mind. It's the same format, just spread out a bit more. So I'm okay with it.
It's certainly different. Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I like the idea of it because when a conference comes up, there's a lot of games out there, and a lot of them are being drowned out by the AAA titles. Where here, it's becoming the same thing in a way, where we're just flooded with information, and I'm petrified that I'm going to miss something because I don't want to miss anything. So it's certainly very different this year. I'm wondering whether they'll keep doing the same, because we're seeing so many different news outlets have their own conferences, they're streaming their showcases and stuff, and it's getting quite difficult to track them all. To be honest,
I think all the game media outlets like IGN, GameSpot, all the other ones will obviously compile all of them for each developer, so that you can easily digest it that way. So you don't have to go to like different sites. They would just compile. Okay, this is what Sony has done over this period of months. Boom, here you go. This is what Microsoft has done. This is what EA has done. This is what Gorilla has done. So they do the legwork, I think.
Well, hopefully they'll make my life easier for the next episode.
I was going to say.
So let's finally wrap this up. So Femi, what are you playing right now? What's your game?
I'm currently finishing Evil Within. Yesterday I did an 8-hour stream of Divinity. It was a very long one, but hella fun. But yeah, currently finishing Evil Within. After that, I will be playing A Plague Tale of Innocence. And then one of my subs have generously donated for me to get Life is Strange, so I will be playing Life is Strange as well.
Strange. I think I quite enjoyed Life is Strange, actually. I think that's I'll call that a Femi game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So
I hope it'll make it fly.
I don't know what he meant by that, but I'm guessing it's amazing things. So
No. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean,
it probably means like
it's got
I
a
don't
good
have to
story.
shoot or aim, so it's fine.
It's a palate
Yeah.
cleanser
Okay.
from what you've been playing. It's very different.
Okay.
So, Femi, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media platforms except actually no, I'm on Twitter now. I was gonna say except Twitter, but I'm on Twitter now. Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter on A_R_O_2NG, as well as Instagram with the same, and also on Twitch A_R_O. And yeah, check me out from Monday to Saturdays. I stream random games. Good times. Oh, just before you go on to the next question, we have Dark Sage 9117. Hello, welcome. He has a question. Interesting gaming question for you guys. It's about a new game coming out in July. Yeah, sure. What's the question about, or the game you're referring to?
Well, it's going to be. I'm trying to think now what game's coming out in July, and I think we've got Ghost of Tsushima, haven't we?
We do.
Oh my word! Yeah,
that's a game I'm thinking. If they announce that'll be for PlayStation 5, I will just buy it straight away. I won't even mess around. I'm hoping that they adopt that you buy it on PlayStation 4 and you can play it on PlayStation 5, but we don't know. Grant, we'll wait for that question from Dark Sage. Let's move on to you, Grant. What are you currently playing? I can't imagine you'd be playing too much. You've just got your setup sorted. But yeah, what are you currently playing, mate?
Gonna hop back onto Destiny 2, rattle through story content they've got. Probably not going to put much time in grinding. Then also to offset that, to bring me down, Resident Evil 7, because that trailer for Resident Evil 8 has got me hyped. So, and just recently finished RE3 remake, so I'm going to get back into it. I'm going to force myself to get through 7.
Oh, it's a shame you don't stream. I'd love to watch you play that. Maybe see your partner's expression. Oh, can you?
I stream just for you, buddy.
Oh, stream. I like that. So, yeah. I mean, where can people find you if they so choose?
At Spaged, on Twitter at Spaged. SPADGED.
Fantastic. So,
questions.
I can see we've got a question in the chat. Do you want to quickly read that out?
Sure. So, Dark Sage, thank you very much for the question. He goes, they go by, Ghost of Tsushima comes out in July. However, I am a bit worried about the reaction to this game. Reason being, the Mongols are the main antagonists, and if you know about history, it's a very touchy subject in regards to what they did and who they were. I'm curious, how far do you think the developers will go in the portrayal of the Mongols? Would they go all out, or would they be forced to hold back and essentially make them cartoonish villains? It's a good question. That's a very good question.
That is a very good question. I mean, I don't know too much about Mongols. They've always been portrayed as the bad guy. From the couple of things that I've experienced. I mean, weren't they the bad guys in Mulan, the Disney film? That's probably not the best example.
We've got all the deep cuts here, guys.
My history. I can't remember last time I watched Mulan, to be honest, but there's always two sides to each story, right? My history is nowhere. It's probably the same as yours, Scott, as well. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be how real they want to take it. It's how much they want to really portray the reality of how Mongols were in the true sense of it. And does it fit with the game or the narrative they're going for? So that's something I think developers or any game studio usually would sort of ponder about and say, okay, does this fit, or do we want to really touch on it? Again, I don't know. Me personally, I like a game to teach me something, make me learn a little bit while I'm playing. So if they do portray it in the true sense of how Mongols were, I'm all up for it. If it means it's very brutal, it's very touchy, it's very uncomfortable for certain people, as long as they do it in a way that they're just showing the reality of Mongols, like factually, as opposed to maybe putting some kind of spin on it, then I'm okay for that.
There is an audience for that. I mean, going on to what you said about it being uncomfortable. I mean, look at Last of Us. That's the first one, probably the most uncomfortable game I've played. That was a very hard. I'm using it. It's a very tough game to get through because it was emotionally crippling in a way for me. But going back to Ghost of Tsushima, it seems like it's a very serious video game. So I'm hoping, I don't know whether they could just go to, I mean, I don't know how much is facts about that era, but we genuinely don't know. I'm open to pretty much anything that they throw at me, to be honest. I'm just as long as I can enjoy the story, I'm happy. I mean, it depends. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the touchy subject around the Mongols to form any kind of opinion. So sorry about that. So,
what about you, Grant?
Yeah, what about you, Grant?
Me neither. I think a very long time ago, I think there is a film called The Mongol, and it's about kind of Genghis Khan before he became, the legend that he is. But watching a film does not make me an expert on a subject. So
It's true. It's true.
I will be interested to see how it pans out myself.
Okay,
Great question.
So behind the scenes, we have Nuns and Moses. He is pretty much doing the legwork, producing this show. So if you want to follow him, he's currently streaming a lot of Escape from Tarkov. He does stream a lot of other strategy games as well. And he's a right laugh. So I'd recommend you guys follow him. You can follow him at twitch.tv Nuns and Moses. So it's Nuns and Moses with a 0 rather than an O. And on Twitter, you can find him at nunsandmoses_live. So, and finally, you can find me at Twitch, Nuns and Moses on the brain. I'm NeonDemon. You can follow me at NeonDemon4. So, Twitter is almost the same, NeonDemon_4, and you can find me Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays streaming at 7 on Twitch. But feel free to follow us above the folds. We'll have our normal panelists next week. Nuns and Moses will be back. Thank you, Grant, for the guest appearance. Thank you, Femi, for sitting through our Destiny discussion.
I feel so knowledgeable now about Destiny. I am definitely.
Oh, mate, we could still talk it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Promise
Keep going.
you.
Keep going.
So, So for Femi, Adam, Grant, I'm Scott. This is Above the Folds, episode 6, and we'll hope to see you guys next week. See you later.
Later.